If you have not logged in, please do so now. There's a couple of QR codes around the room. We did find out that Androids have a little bit more of a difficult time. I'm not a tech person. I don't know how to do this if you're on Android. Matthew?
If you're on Android and it doesn't load for you, you have to copy the URL and then paste it into your web browser and upload it up.
So if you have not, please do so. You've got the Wi-Fi if you wanted to sign in. So a couple of housekeeping things before we get started. We are the 1 Million Cups of Eustis and Lake County. We want to refrain from any side conversations because we want to make sure that our presenters today get all of our full attention that they deserve. And then during the feedback time as well, which we greatly open to all responses and feedback. If you have not silenced your cell phone, please do so now. And then bathrooms. Women's is through that door, and men's is up here in the corner. Again, the Wi-Fi, the password, the QR code to sign in. We want to thank you to our sponsors. We want to thank Pam Rivas and George from Mega World. This is going to be our permanent home, so let's thank them for hosting this event. Most important thing why we gather is to have coffee and listen to great presentations. We want to thank our coffee sponsor, Foxtail Coffee, and then we want to thank our donut and bagel sponsor, United Southern Bank. So, who is the first timer at 1 Million Cups? Anyone? All right. So, what is 1 Million Cups? What it is presentations. What it is not is a sales pitch. It is not a pitch for investors. It is here to get help from successful business people in the community to get feedback on how they can improve their businesses. The other thing that it is connecting. We had 30 minutes of great conversations. One of the hardest parts that I have with getting the meeting started, and I hate doing, is ending those conversations. Because when you can't hear yourself in the room, to me, that's a great thing. We have that at our meeting. But what it is not networking. We're not here to try to solicit somebody else our business. We're here, again, to help the presenters and improve their business. As I always say, and I think we talk about a lot when we go through the different meetings and such, business will happen naturally by the connections that we make here. So when we're presenting, it's not pitches and it's not networking. Same thing from everybody attending. It's not saying, hey, try my business. You're there to support the presenters. So what we want to do, real quick, we're going to go around the room and ask who's here. So name and company, or in 5 seconds, if you have a business idea, what's that business idea? Let's start at the back with John Dorman.
I'm John Dorman, I'm with SPDC, Lake County. My offices are downstairs. We help businesses grow and succeed.
Taylor.
Hi, I'm Bailey Carlisle, and I'm a financial advisor with Evertrust.
Glenn.
Glenn Olton with Money Managed IT. We are a full-service IT consulting firm in South Lake.
Clay.
Clay Williams, Liberty Pressure Washing and Detailing.
Justin.
Jesse Armstrong, Financial Solutions, Financial Coaching.
How can we take down the road back and forth?
Okay, keep those there. Jared Caliphate, Dos Outside Coffee and Mobile Coffee.
Mutual funds, Berkshire Hathaway, and I'm also working on a new idea.
Chuck Wire, retired after 43 years of very family bureau.
Michelle Kruger, Right Side Services, Residential Planning and Redevelopment. Delaney Foster, Junkie Monkey. Janine Natalie, Property Funders Real Estate.
John Henry, Just First Media, Community Magazines and Branding.
Joe Props and White Exteriors, Low Voltage Lighting, and Solar Power.
Gabrielle Ford, Grumpy Up Dumpster Rental.
Candace with Basin Custom Software Development.
Glad with Basin, same thing. We also sat on an Angel Seed Investment Fund, so I do look for grant ideas.
Cindy Kalanga, Citizens First Bank.
Pretty excited with Rackoot and Accredited Bookkeeping.
ASK.
Yes. Robin Richter, All Travel Agency, and I have an office in Eustis.
Good morning, Debbie Weiner, Dolly Park Imagination Library in Lake County.
Gunner from Rackoot and Accredited Bookkeeping.
Byron County esports photo, digital sports event photography.
Jermaine Cooper, Elevate Lake County Government. After this, I'll just send out some pamphlets to everyone. We're having a Lake Forest Workforce Summit, November 9th. Monty's doing the honor of a big hot for me downstairs. But what we do is I'm with the county, and if not what lead is, they're the private sector. So I'm government, and these guys actually work.
What he said.
Can you read this, the mega workplace and mega companies? I don't have to or
Monty Fletcher, Big Economic Area Development Business Support. I'm Matthew Guy. I'm a business advisor with Thrive Online Marketing and Software Solutions.
Morning, Rose Sickle with KW Legal Departments, and I'm so happy to be here with all of you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Mary Ann Kerwin, Accredited Bookkeeping.
Sean Leahy with Insurance Office of America, Commercial Insurance.
And I'm Jim Green with Union Home Mortgage, and officially as of yesterday, I am also a tenant of the building downstairs. Now John can come in and have company in the morning. All right, we wanted to take one quick minute and introduce a really special guest who has attended maybe not the first ever 1 Million Cups, but attended 1 Million Cups at the original location in Kansas City. So Clay Williams, if you can take about 30 to 40 seconds and tell us about yourself and your experience with 1 Million Cups.
Yeah, so as he said, my name's Clay Williams. At one point in time, I lived in the Kansas City area and visited quite frequently the 1 Million Cups. Here in January, I'm going to be starting college, and I drove here 90 miles or so from Gainesville, Florida, just to come visit y'all this morning. So thanks for having me.
Thank you. We have gained such momentum. Clay drove past Ocala to attend. So again, Clay, thanks for being here. Again, just a reminder, presenters, not pitches, connections, not networking. So after each presenter, we're going to do a quick business card giveaway. So if you have not put your business cards in the bowl yet, then we want to make sure that you get those, and we'll give away some 1 Million Cups swag. So if you want to present, contact us today. We had several people helping out today. John, myself, Monty, Ray, Candace, Greg, Jared. See one of us, let us know. We will get you on the presentation list. We'll get you through the website to fill out the application. Pete has done that, and we are getting his application approved, and we'll be getting him on the presentation list before too long. So stay connected. I believe we're actually live on Facebook today. So, Ray, we are live. We've got a mic. I guess last week it didn't come through. Me is watching. Ray's going to be watching for questions online. Wave everybody on Facebook. So if you are on Facebook watching us today, if you have questions or feedback or thoughts for the presenters, put them through in the comment section. Ray is going to read some of the comments if we get them as we go through. I think this is the first time we've actually been able to go live and where it has connected and you can hear the sound. Last week I think there was some issues on the feed. But this is our Facebook page. If you have not liked it, find us and like us please and follow us. And then the same thing on the website, find us and follow us. And then if you want to help be an organizer, we've had so much positive feedback. We're up to like 12 organizers. But you know what? We can use more. So we always want more help. So the question of the week, and we're going to go real quick so we can get to our first presenter. But if you could have coffee with any entrepreneur, business person, alive or dead, who would you choose and why? Sure.
Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs.
And that's that.
John?
Elon Musk.
I like that one. Greg?
Jesus Christ.
You did have a successful business. That's still carrying over today. Anyone else?
John Maxwell.
John Maxwell. Good.
Trump.
Donald Trump. Ray, how about you?
Henry Ford.
Yes.
Another good
Just
one.
industry, but I think just the production and manufacturing part.
Yeah, another one that goes perfect with this, Ray Kroc. If you have not seen the movie Founder, incredible movie about how McDonald's got started. It is. Ooh. Edison. Pam.
Andrea Norby, she's a CEO of Pepsi, and she talks a lot about how to be a successful mom and a successful business.
All right, very good. Thank you, everyone. So last but not least is, oh, we're going to save this for last. So that will be last but not least at the end of the meeting. Not last but not least now. So let's get to our presenters. So our first presenter today, Marianne, come on up. Monty's going to get you set up there. But this is Marianne Kerwin with Accredited Bookkeeping. Let's welcome Marianne.
Hi, everybody. I'm Marianne with Accredited Bookkeeping. I am a virtual bookkeeping company. I have clients all over the United States. I only work with clients in the United States. I'm a QuickBooks advisor, and my goal is to help businesses free them from the minutia of their finances that they don't usually like to do. And I'll do it because I like to do it. I'm a numbers person, I'm a spreadsheets person, I'm a QuickBooks Advisor Advanced online. So I've also used QuickBooks Desktop for like 23 years before I switched over to online. So those are the products that I like to use, and I really, really like to help businesses. A lot of businesses, startup businesses, small to medium-sized businesses, don't really understand their finances, don't really understand how to read a bank statement, not a bank statement, most can read a bank statement, but balance sheet, income statement, statement of cash flows, those kind of things. Those are and I like to teach them how to do that. So I don't just make them, but I actually consult with my clients in regards to those. How do I help? I help businesses by prioritizing their bookkeeping. A lot of times when you're a business owner, you wear a lot of hats. And you're an HR person, you're a morale booster, you go run the errands and get the stuff from Staples, you're doing all the things that you need to do to keep your business going. But your bookkeeping and your finances, even though you know they're important, they kind of get pushed down to the bottom of the stack. And so we prioritize those. We have the expertise to handle them. I know that most people don't get in business to do bookkeeping, but bookkeeping is part of any successful business. Now, I get in business to do bookkeeping, so I like it if people let me do that. And then consistency. I do it consistently throughout the month, throughout the year, and when it's time for you to get your taxes done, you're all ready. So you don't have to dread that tax man. Also, I know a lot of business owners, they end up doing their bookkeeping when they should be at their child's event or a family reunion or Saturdays when they should be home with their families, and so that's one thing that I can take off their plate. Some of the services that I do cleanups and catch-ups. So if you're behind on your bookkeeping, or if a company is behind on their bookkeeping, I can help them get caught up, and then we can just stay caught up with our ongoing bookkeeping. Also, I have some add-on services. I can do accounts receivable, accounts payable, year-end, 1099 processing. I do QuickBooks online training. So if you have somebody, maybe you have in-house people that are doing the accounts payable or the accounts receivable portion of the bookkeeping, I can train them so that they're doing it right and making sure that everything is exactly the way it should be. Now, this is one of my struggles, and so I stuck this slide in. A lot of people want to know, why do I need a bookkeeper and an accountant? So I'm going to try out this little thing with you guys. Nurse is to doctor as bookkeeper is to accountant. So your nurse comes in, or if you're in the hospital, the nurse is there all the time, taking care of you, doing your regular maintenance of your drugs and your medications, and helping you when you're struggling. your doctor comes in and spends a few minutes with you. Your bookkeeper, on the other hand, does the same thing. Your bookkeeper does your monthly stuff, takes care of all of your regular work, and then your account is ready for your accountant when they're ready to do your taxes or to plan things, or if you need to apply for a loan, you're all ready to do that because you've had your regular monthly work done. So this is kind of, so in summary, we enjoy bookkeeping, Excel, spreadsheets, and numbers. These are a couple of books that I often recommend to my clients that they read. I really like them. I think they're great books for people to read. And bookkeeping is vital to the success of every single company. So everybody needs a bookkeeper. How can you guys help? That's where I'm at now? How do I effectively communicate that every business needs a bookkeeper and they need an accountant. They don't need just one or the other. And then also I'm looking for other ways to build my business in Florida. I'm new to Florida. I moved here in December. And so I talked this morning with Matt already. He says I need to build up my Google business profile, so I'm going to work on that. But those are some of my questions, and I would love to get some feedback from you guys.
Question for you right there.
So, first thing I had, when you mentioned that analogy of nurses are to doctors what bookkeepers are to accountants, I love that. And I think that a lot of people that would really give them that answer that they're looking for to educate them. I would suggest to start off with, to help you with all of your online presence, is to create maybe a couple of short commercials and then pictures that go along with the education statement. So you have like a little flow chart. But commercials, I think, are a great way too. So maybe like 30-second to 2-minute videos that you can have, that you can regularly post your socials. You can put it on your website, but also that you can use as a reference when you're emailing people, say, here is why you use a bookkeeper, so that you have something that's already created, so you don't have to reinvent that conversation over and over and over again. And it's within the attention span that most people have today, which is under 2 minutes.
Okay, that's a great idea. I like that idea.
Michelle, I just want to say it was a great presentation and timely for me, because as entrepreneurs, we're so focused on our dream, and we're smart people, that's why we do what we do, and we think that we know bookkeeping. We think we know bookkeeping because we think it's just like balancing a checkbook, right?
Right.
And at some point in your business, it's a painful point when you realize you really don't know about bookkeeping or accounting, and you need help. And I think that had I seen this many, many years ago, I would have had an aha moment, and I need to focus on that. But it was a really great presentation, really good information, and I especially love that you are profit first. Not everybody is aware of profit first. Not everybody understands, and it's a really great method.
It's a really great method.
Yeah.
And it's really helped a lot of, I use it within my own company, but I've also used it with several clients that has really made a big, huge change in their lives.
Yeah.
And I'm not a profit first certified person, but I still use it with my clients. I still recommend they read it, and if they're ready to go, I'm ready to do it.
And it's I feel like it's a complicated way of doing things, but I see the benefits and knowing that there's somebody in our community that understands that and could guide us through that way of accounting.
Yeah.
I love that. Thank
Yeah.
you for that.
Thank you.
I was just gonna say, for those of us who are not bookkeepers, or for those of us who don't, there are things that we can wrap our minds around, and then there are things that are outside of that, right? Bookkeeping being one thing.
small businesses how to do it themselves. That can be an entryway into their business. It can be a different avenue for profit. It might not be reoccurring, but it gets you in the door. And then it'll lead you to potential customers. So focusing on those small businesses in these communities and maybe having your focus on some type of training and a course and a clear-cut price for that. And that may be something that's more tangible for small businesses than a monthly payment, just bringing you on. And then by doing that, you're teaching them why you need a nurse first before you go to a doctor. And you might be that first step for that small business to hire right before the accountant. Right. So getting your foot in the door with small businesses before the accountant does. Because both are important, but I think if you don't have the day-to-day, your accountant can't really help you that well.
Well, they charge a lot more to get that day-to-day caught back up.
Exactly.
I love your, everything saying your analogies, they were really, you brought it home. I think too though, as starting out a small business, such a pinching stage. And the thought of, like, what I went through, the thought of spending money out, doing something that I thought I could do myself was just not in my realm of thinking about the speaking on myself. However, I wish I had somebody help mentor me through my time, what my strengths are, where I'm going to spend over here, let me take this on. And I think you touched on that a little bit. You touched on it more about like the home life, you know, go out and do this and that. I think though as a business person, I would like to hear more like free yourself up to work on your sales, your growth, this. So let me take on this so you can go focus on what your strength is.
Yeah.
Let me do this back door.
I think I missed that part of my presentation because I do say that quite often, but I appreciate that feedback. Because I mean, people don't get into business to do bookkeeping. They get into business because they want to sell houses, or they want to help people with IT, or they want to, help people with mortgages. I mean, they don't get into business because they want to do bookkeeping. And the other good thing about me is that I can tailor a package exactly what you need. So if you're a startup company, we can do something small. I can even train a small business to do their own. Small business to do their own.
I love what Gabby and there just said, but one of the things that Gabby was mentioning was the idea of teaching and equipping business owners. So I think it'd be great to help you get into this community and to teach local workshops so that people can start to see, all right, I actually can do this myself, and I would like to have you teach me a little bit further. Or maybe you'll be like, you know what, I don't like this at all. I should just hire you. But teaching some local workshops, whether that's free or something that and it'll help you in this community, I think, a lot.
I do have one scheduled in December with the SBDC in Sumter County. So I'm going to teach a basic bookkeeping class there.
Chuck?
Dovetails on what this lady over here was saying. A cost-benefit analysis. If you put a formula together, how many hours they can work, for the cost for you, and what that equals in their business, the product they need to sell, or the hours they can work, or the phone calls they can make, that dovetails right into their business, and it makes you part of their business with that formula.
Good idea. Great idea.
Follow up on that real quick. That's one thing I always say is let me do the work for you. Your job is not to chase me. Your job is not to chase the numbers. It's to let them do their job. We do that for them.
Right.
Something that just occurred to me. I've had startups. Usually it's the kids of other clients that I have that got this great idea for a business, and I approach the marketplace and I go, okay, we need some pro forma financials, and I watch their face kind of glaze over. So when you were talking about the financial literacy or education, that's great. But if you're able to help us, someone with a good business idea to help with the part of the business plan that involves the pro forma, then you got life. So I'd say that would be something also that I'd love to be able to refer folks over.
Yeah, I love to help. I have a heart for helping small businesses, and I love that.
Sure.
Just one technical thing on your slides.
Okay.
You want to be careful with the caps lock.
Okay. Okay.
Because if you put it in anywhere digital, it's the equivalent of yelling.
Oh.
So I know you did the caps lock to be bold and show, but you want to be careful because it could send the wrong message to folks that are viewing it and not realizing that you're doing so.
Okay.
Piggyback off the training, I'd almost by task within QuickBooks. You can do it that finite. Back to a 30-second thing, just templated accounts payable, invoicing. One task inside of QuickBooks, and that'd be very beneficial to a lot of small businesses.
John Durant.
I would suggest one of the probably most important things you can do that's going to provide client retention is to make sure that your clients understand double entry accounting, which is probably the most misunderstood name on the plan. And if you get that, that also helps them to keep their balance sheet balanced and to understand, and basically what double entry accounting is, everything goes twice. That's it. So if there's a debit in your bank account, there's got to be a credit somewhere, and that will help you get an edge, really.
You know, just to kind of follow what John said, I'm watching, you know, everybody here. I don't know what that means. We don't know what that means. That's why, you know, and these are the messages I think that you need to get out of, you know, do this. And you guys correct me if I'm wrong. If somebody had a bookkeeper following the books monthly, the nurse, the doctor, and then provides them to the CPA, would that not be more cost effective than just having the CPA do 100% of the work?
Yes, it's much more cost.
And I think along, you know, Jeff's line, that's something that you could put out there as well.
I think what would be helpful for me on the business is, you know, I trust you given that spiel and your expertise. You can maybe, you know, share some success stories, but also provide marketability to accessibility to you. Like if I'm entrusting you with my finances, I want to know how accessible you are. A little bit more of a window preview into the systemics of your process. Like, you know, what do I need to give you at the end of the week? You know, are you in my credit card account? I think a little bit more trustworthiness needs to be established.
Sure. Yeah.
You mentioned catch-ups and cleanups you had on there, and I think that's something you can really focus on. Because some businesses, you know, they should start with a bookkeeper right when they start out, and that would be wonderful for you. But a lot of people have stuff written on napkins and legal pads everywhere. They're afraid to show somebody how bad the state
they're
of
scared.
finances are in, and I think that's a point you could emphasize. That we can come in and help people get from napkins to you.
Yeah, it's like a puzzle for me. I like to do it.
And maybe in addition to that, with the training as well, and to be careful to not move to the financial advisory area, but provide, what else can you provide compared to the other bookkeeper? And that might be a analysis every month. And not necessarily you telling them where they should spend their money, but bringing awareness to where a lot of their money's going. And that's something that you provide that the other person does not.
I do a 1-hour call with all my clients every single month to go over those top 3 reports and then whatever else. And whatever stuck out to me, we talk about it. So we do kind of do a partnership type of a.
Well, that's something to lead with your first step forward, because a lot of the times you hire someone, you talk the first time, and then you never really hear from them again.
Right.
So by you leading with this cost includes 1 hour meeting a month.
Yeah.
Discussing that might set you apart.
Great idea.
All right, last question, Michelle.
Do you work by yourself or do you have a team?
I work by myself unless I need additional, then I bring on some consultants that I have already vetted and I know they're doing a great job. So, but I'm always the one who talks to the client, so.
All right, and my question for you want to ask?
Can I just summarize? I think we all know there's tons of bookkeepers everywhere there. I think what you should emphasize, that since you're trying to get more business, is all of the things that set you apart from other bookkeepers, and really hone in on that. And I love what you said about cost, because if you can show the business owner, hey, this is what it's going to cost you, but this is all the things that I'm going to do for you from a time standpoint. What is that to you? And I think if you do that, you're going to set yourself apart.
Thank you.
Also change your location on your website. Make sure you're available virtually.
Yeah.
To be accessible as a bookkeeper is your #1 trait for your business, right?
All right, and our question for you, sorry, Pam. Our question for you, how can we help you as a community?
Just, if you hear people that, I mean, I know especially as we get closer to the end of the year, there's people out there. If you can help me by letting them know that I exist, and I'll be here to, help you guys as well.
All right, sorry, man, we gotta end it there, because we want to get to our next presenter, but thank you for that. So one thing before we bring up our second presenter, one thing that I wanted to mention that I forgot at the beginning, and that was a great example. Mary Ann's a great example. Who do we want to present? Traditionally 1 million cups is for start a business 1 to 5 years old, and the question that was posed to us that we put out to everyone else, what keeps you up at night? If you have a new business and there's something keeping you up at night, this is why we want to have you present. Now, Mary Ann's been in the business for 25 years, but that was on working for companies outside. Mary Ann's gone out on her own. Pete has applied. Pete's been in business forever, but he's starting a new venture. So if you are in an established business, but you are starting a new venture in that business and you have questions, we want you to present as well. So let everybody know this is who we want presenting at our weekly meetings.
Okay, Matthias.
Well, you can grab your Bible and come up. Come on up. So we did not plan that.
Remedy done.
Oh, see, you forgot who started last week.
I know. Worked out.
So, we did not plan that she would pull Matthias' card out, but as it happens, Matthias is our next presenter. So let's welcome Matthias Delano. Delano with the Rackoot.
Hello everyone, good morning. I'm going to talk today about Rackoot, but let me introduce myself first. My name is Matthias Delano. I'm originally from Buenos Aires, from Argentina. I moved here to Central Florida about 3 years ago with my family, my wife, and my son, who's currently 14 years old. It was really tough, really hard, different, a lot of changes. But I love being here, it's a great place to live, and I like it a lot. A little bit about myself. I have a bachelor degree in marketing and advertising and an MBA. I'm a marketing professor at several universities. I love teaching, and I've been teaching for the last 15 years. I'm an entrepreneur. I have several startups. Some of them somehow successful, some of them not so much. That's part of the life. And I founded Relevance, my digital marketing agency, around 11 years ago in Buenos Aires. It was somehow successful company, and now I founded Rackoot over here, which is the company that I'm going to talk about. But you cannot found a company by yourself, so let me introduce you to I have Ignacio, which is my co-founder. He's awesome. He's probably one of the smartest person that I know. We've been working together for more than 7 years. He was an employee back there in Argentina in my agency, and now he's my founder. He was on all sorts of technologies, and he's a very clever guy. And we have a small team of developers all over the place, some in other cities in Argentina, in California, and in Uruguay. So we are 100% virtual company so far. What is our challenge? We work in focusing in work inefficiency. We think that is a huge problem. And Rackoot is a company, it's a technology company that is focused on solving that issue. And what we do for that, we build products and we build technology. We have different types of products and technologies. We have Rackoot Cloud Desktop, which is a free product that anyone can access, that is used for organizing information. And we have Rackoot Assistant, which is the product that I'm going to talk about today, that I'm into. Rackoot Assistant is an AI chatbot or an AI assistant, but it's focused on managing company information. Basically what it does is help companies to navigate their internal information, but in a very easy way. You can feed it with information from all types of documents, and you can ask questions, or your employees, your team, whatever can ask questions to that information, which make it easy and accessible. Why now? Well, basically AI, and it's going to transform every industry on the planet. So we want to be part of that transformation. And what is different from, there are plenty of chatbots and other similar solutions. We think that it's like having a knife. You can have any type of knife to cut things, but you have to be very specific for some specific types. So we think of ourselves like a diverse knife, something that is tailored and high quality and very sweet for some specific use. In our case, this is helping companies to be more effective and more efficient with their time. How can you help? Well, basically, I moved here only 3 years ago. I don't have a broad network, and I need to get access and information about resources that are available, people who I may need to know to understand. And also, we are launching this product. The product is not in the market yet, so we pilot or test customers to give us feedback, use it, and understand what are the real life problems that companies have when using our product. So basically, this is what I expect for the community, a little bit of help on networking and on helping to test the product and be a pilot tester of the product. Thank you.
So, I have a question as we get started.
Yeah.
Our company did a similar thing. Now in mortgages, and there's just a ton of information that needs to be done. But we've kind of created this, a system that we can go. The problem is that I find, and I think something you may have to get the message out, a lot of times the information that we search is not right.
Yeah.
It's close, but it's not right. So I think one of the big issues is going to be how do you go in or going in to guarantee as much as possible that what your system, when you take their information in, is going to be accurate.
That's a great question. Well, basically, there are different things. Our system takes only the information that you provide you provide it from documents, either PDF, Excel, Word, whatever document you have, and it will take the information only from there. In this process, we are offering also a walkthrough or a consulting service to help them curate the information. Because, as you say, sometimes you have all information or whatever. We need to curate a little bit in order to be sure that all information that you upload is the right information and from the right source.
So, I work for a large publicly traded company, but even for a smaller company that maybe they have a team of say 20 people, the access that I have to certain documents is going to be vastly different to say the CEO or a manager. So how can your software or the AI differentiate so that I can only access information that is at my level?
That's awesome. It's a great question. At this point, no way. We are working on a new product that is called, it's an algorithm, actually, it's a technology. We call it prompt sorting. And one of the things that this technology does is going user by user. So it will allow you to sort between different sources of information and provide you only the information that you have access to. And you can also upload information that is only available for you. So it will be in two ways. The administrator can prevent you to access some information, and you can upload some information that is only going to be available for you as well. So that's, yeah.
You mentioned about, since you're still in development for the product, trying to, customer discovery, and you mentioned about pilot testing and things like that. In your mind, what is because obviously if you want to get in touch with a large company with a lot of data,
of course,
the barriers to that are going to take a long time potentially to do that. So in terms of a small, maybe traditional business that can be found, especially in this room, the contacts that people know, in all of Central Florida, not just Lake County. But what might be, say, a traditional business that could potentially, in your mind, you think that you would have the most, or you in terms of helping to develop your product further. So is there any particular industries or any particular business that you think that, you know, we can target?
That's perfect. So far we are industry agnostic, but we have like two criteria that we use to find the right customers. One is we are targeting like companies that are around 20 to 50 or 100 employees, because that's manageable. And these are companies that are unable to afford Microsoft or any other company that charge hundreds of thousands of dollars for solutions like this. We are more affordable, of course, a lot more. And the other thing is companies where information is key. When people is working either on their computer all day, or they have their phones. Like for example, let me show you two different cases that we have. One is a company that they are landscapers, and one of the problems that they have is that they have a lot of internal process that people, when they are cutting the grass or whatever, call the office and ask for the same questions all over and all over and all over. Now they are giving them access to these tools so they can ask directly and have the answers, so they don't have to call the office and bother people who is working in something completely different.
So I kind of have a question for you.
Sure.
So you're saying this is on a small language model that you're building,
Yeah.
and then you're doing it per customer.
Sorry?
You're building it per customer. You don't have like, you have like a prototype
No.
or a demo that you can
We have a
share.
product, we have a demo, we have everything. The product is a standard product.
So if I were to reach out to you, you can provide me a demo.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We're looking for a network of resellers as well.
I think, especially with all of the questions that everyone's asking, I was making sure that I wasn't the only one. Your presentation is great, but it's very, very broad. You're using broad words like you can help with communication.
Okay.
And so it's taken multiple people to kind of ask questions to know exactly what we can do for companies.
Okay.
And so I know it can be difficult with IT, especially because you can help in so many different areas. It's kind of flexible that way. But maybe in your presentation or talking to customers, giving examples of what you can do for them, like with the lawn care company, that was very helpful. So leading with that, because for someone who may not know IT, I'm not sure how exactly how you can help me.
Thank you so much. That was awesome. Thank you.
Well, now, and the following Gary's question, you know, and like Matthew was saying, like with our situation, it's internal. Now, so are you doing this for internal? So would a small business of 4 or 5 people probably not benefit? Or is it both internal for the employees to search company guidelines, or is it for customers that have a question, they want to call Gabby or Delaney's business, where they can go online, they can search that question as a customer and get the answer, like you were talking about with the landscape?
We have both solutions.
Okay.
So, but we are focusing on the internal solution because we think that on the other end, we have a lot of competition, and here is kind of more specific. That's why we are targeting this market first. But we already have built a solution that is both internal and external.
Yeah.
I think it's important for you to be able to describe your business in 10 words or less. You meet somebody in an elevator, somebody at a counter, you want to be able to communicate to them quickly, this is what I do. And then they decide, is that something that I can take, that has value?
Thank you.
I have a question. How many weeks does it take to get this established within a business?
10 minutes.
What's that?
10 minutes. You
10
have,
minutes.
yeah, because it's really easy. If you already have the document that you want to process and everything, you just upload the documents.
And you can build it on any platform that
Any
they have.
platform, and you set up the users, it's for internal use, and 10 minutes anyone can be asking questions.
And how secure is that data?
Sorry?
How secure is the data?
The data is secure. You have to upload it to Google Drive so far. So we're building. This is like a very early MVP stage. We're building different levels of security because we understand that some companies will require a lot more secure environment. But so far, we uploaded to to Google Drive, which is a reasonably secure platform, and everything is processed through that.
That nurse doctor visualization
Yeah.
description really, really resonated with many of us.
Yeah.
If you could find a way to
Yeah.
describe your business that very same way, that would probably be really, really helpful.
Well, and you know, and again, I'll follow up on that too, because like with what Candace said, so they provide you the information, you upload it, you get it set up, and it's there. What, you know, and I think a thought is, so what benefit is it to a company to have that where they could just, the employee could just go and do a search in their HR manual or something like that? Because to me, it's like you have to show where's the value to the company to set this up when they may, you know, the employees may have to go, you know, if you have to go through extra steps, that's what it's gonna take versus spending the money to have this set up. So I think there has to be, you know, is there a cost, and going back to the first question like Chuck said, is there a cost benefit and savings to the companies to have this set up?
Of course, yeah. Well, basically, this saves a lot of time and money because searching in HR or in any system, intranet or whatever, it takes time, and usually it takes you like 3 or 4 iterations until you get to the right documentation, to the right thing. Because most of the search platforms, they search in a way that they search keywords.
And I think on the slide where we showed, because I thought it was a great slide that showed that the one about costing companies $1 trillion a year, in that would be a great one to expand on and say, look, you know, employees spend an average of, you know, 27 minutes a day searching company guidelines at a cost of this. And where you can break it down and show on a company of 20 to 50 employees, it's costing that company X number of dollars per year just on lost productivity because they're searching HR guidelines, company guidelines, where they could be, you know, like when we talked to Mary Ann, they're focusing on the business, this is solving that problem. And I think that would be one to expand on, because that's the one thing, it's like, I see the cost in that slide, which I think was a great slide, but you gotta break it down even further, to me, to show the benefit of it. Because I don't understand how companies are losing $1 trillion a year, but that would explain it more.
You have a slide up there, we only have it very briefly, but the search question that the person posed was, remind me again of our travel policy or our work from home policy.
Yeah.
And then the chatbot, whatever, gave it the answer. I think you should highlight and sell more that they can ask in just a native way. Ask it a question, not how do I, subsection 3, find HR policy this. It's just ask it a question and it'll give you the
Yeah, it's a conversational.
Correct.
Yeah.
I think that should be more of your sales presentation, is that why this is so much faster and valuable to a company, because they don't have to know the architecture of the HR manual or whatever.
Yeah,
That's where
just
just
ask
ask
the
the question.
Thank you.
All right, I'm not gonna pay them off the second time, just my landlord.
I think I heard a couple of people touch on this, and I've been looking at your website. It's very broad. When it's broad like that, I feel like it's not speaking to us individually. So giving those few examples of how that's going to individually affect us or impact us, so we could use it. One of the things I saw on here, and somebody just mentioned it too, was the travel.
Yeah.
It's like travel to Paris. But you do so much more than that. So it's like, I want to travel to Paris with a short layover, and arriving at this time, so that I can have unlimited, not as much jet lag, and get that specific with it, and then show the result of it. That's just one example, but it's like that broad statement of, I want to travel to Paris, that's, any of us can just do that.
Yeah.
But what you do is so much more than that. So you gotta get more detailed in what you can do.
Thank you.
That makes sense.
So to that point, also what Jim was just talking about, giving that specific example. So we've talked about pilot tests. So potentially finding a company that would allow you to go in, obviously a free service so that they can share the data with you, it possible, or again, if the company intranet can kind of determine how much time their employees are spending looking in their HR manuals and other internal resources, and then implement your solution, and then say, this company over the last year was spending X amount of minutes or X amount of time, which came out to this amount of dollars for expenditure of people, time. And then after we implemented our solution, it has brought it down 30% or 35%, which translates to that. Is that a potential for a pilot kind of test? And is that capable, or or are you able to get that kind of data from a company just from their own internal things? That's not something that I don't.
It depends if the company had that information beforehand. If they have information beforehand, we can measure the impact afterwards. So we can definitely do that. Thank you. That's a good idea.
As I'm hearing this, and I'm hearing about how you can be a benefit internally to companies, something that came to mind was maybe targeting franchises. For example, my girlfriend's the marketing manager at Chick-fil-A. They are very strict and particular about the procedures. She also, franchises, you can very easily get a hold of the owner of that franchise, which can get you in the door, and they want to follow protocol. Often they're wanting another franchise, so they want to make sure that they're following protocol, and it can be very difficult. So having an AI system where you can just quickly ask certain procedures might be a way in, and then it can take you nationwide, depending on how big the franchise is.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's part of the idea on how the product can be used to sort of pursue the manuals or.
Because it's hard getting a hold of the main person who would want this implemented on such big companies.
Exactly.
But getting a hold
check
of
contracts and things like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you can get a hold of the Mount Dora franchise owner who has a close relationship with the CEO. So that can be your way in.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I would have hours on, I'm assuming, React, native cloud, DevOps guy. I could go real deep on your AWS infrastructure, machine learning, but we won't go there. But as far as just billing model, are you thinking SaaS, subscription based?
It's a subscription based SaaS based on the amount of users that you have.
Any data consumption on top of that, or just per user? Per
no, it's, so far it's based on the amount of users.
So you can go put number of users, monthly flat fee.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like the internal use aspects, but as far as your growth and moving forward, I think that something like this would do exceedingly well for helping customers. Because say for one of the things I'm helping with a lot of my clients is teaching them how to use like the Q&A portion of a Google business listing, or even building out like a simple chat into their websites so that people say, hey, I know you're a landscaper, but do you do concrete? And the chat gives some answers, but a lot of the times those chats, they only have a very limited amount of responses, and even within like the Google Q&A, there's only so many things that you can think of, but consumers have a million questions sometimes, and it is annoying when you have to answer what would be for your industry a simple question with a phone call when they could get an answer so simply. So if you could build out a like this to be embedded into a consumer's or a business's website, so that people could easily find answers to everything based upon the content that is not only on the page of the website, but also within some of their own systems as well. I think that you would really save a lot of business owners a lot of time.
Well, that's already developed. That's our pilot program.
I think there's a big market for that compared to the.
Great.
What I'm understanding is obviously you're wanting to implement this and everything, but I think as an opinion of mine, is to really look at Salesforce, that company. I know they're doing this already, more than likely, and what you want to do in the 50 to 100 employee range, they do a lot of this, and they have a phenomenal CRM system and all that. And maybe one of the things to do is just really look at their infrastructure and everything. I think what you're talking about would be great for small companies that can't afford those HRs. But Salesforce.com is for the small companies up to 50 to 100 people, where they can utilize that HR system, but I think, I'm in real estate, so apartment managers, CAM managers, people like that, I think that could be a potential niche for you. And then while you're testing it on them, then you can approach the Salesforce.com. And I like what Matt stated in having a chat box where you do have that, because as a realtor, it's nice to be able to get a question answered, and I use internet a lot.
All right, unfortunately, stick around afterwards. We have to respect everybody's time. We're going to go ahead and end it here, but everybody is welcome to stay and talk with both of our presenters, talk amongst yourselves. One last question.
Yeah, on your website, it almost seems like you're marketable to anyone. You don't even have to be a business. It can just be like another, attachment.
We are updating the website in the future, because in the website we are only talking about the other product, which is
Another product.
Cloud Desktop, which is a free product for everyone. So we're going to separate that in the next update of the website when we launch this product.
Just for everyone in the room, SBDC provides a free website analysis of anyone who wants it. Gives you a score from 1 to 100 and about 20 pages of things you can do to make it better. So just for information.
And what can we do for you as a community?
Just introduce me people, spread the voice about the product, and send me some other ideas that you have through email or anything like that.
And look for test companies.
Of course, yeah.
All right, thank you. We're finishing up with a drawing. So, I know we only have, I think, 1 or 2 new people here today. This is what 1 Million Cups is about. If you know a successful business owner, Chuck and I go to church together. I knew he ran a successful business for years. I thought, what a perfect person to put in, have attend and visit with us today, and great feedback. So thank you for coming today. Thank you for our first time. If you know somebody that would be a perfect person to give feedback, run successful businesses, please invite them. The same thing like we talked about presenting, please invite them. I always recommend attend 1 or 2 first, then present, so you can get an understanding for what 1 Million Cups is. Matthias has attended a 1 Million Cups in the past, so he was familiar with it. So we will wrap up with community notes. Anybody have any community updates? All right, I have one. As it happens, our first roadshow that we did introducing 1 Million Cups to the community was at the Foxtail in Tavares. And it's right across the street from the library. They're doing a fundraiser for a program called the 4th Trimester. Very near and dear to Chuck and my heart, because the owner of the Foxtail we go to church with. And 4th Trimester is a home that they purchased and is putting single moms in to help them adjust into the world. Learning how to raise their children on their own, helping them with resumes, helping them with getting into the workforce and raising their children. So they are doing a fundraiser for that a week from Friday on the 11th. Tickets are $20. You can pick them up for cash at the Foxtail in Tavares, and we'll mention it again next week, but great organization. Yeah.
Just as well. So I'm also cheerleader leader at Umatilla Population, the football and cheerleading league. And we're always looking for sponsors. We never turn down a child, whether they have the money to pay registration or not. So we find a way to be able to pay for that for them. So if anyone wanted some way to help out and sponsor and get their business out there, we can put signs, we always put them up at the games.
All right, anyone else? What?
Last Friday, I know we met Wednesday, but last Friday, Eustis High School won the district championship 2 years in a row, so go Eustis.
All right.
Real quick, sorry. I'm Officer Code with Eustis Police Department. I'm the CRA downtown officer. If any of you guys have any businesses in the area, come see me. I'll give you a business card. And we can talk about making sure that your business is safe and secure. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, you can have my email address and my phone number. You can contact me. Anything I can do to help or the department can do, we can see what we can do to make sure that you guys are all secure and doing well.
Thank you. Marie Alberti from the Eustis Chamber. This morning we had our monthly breakfast, and it was a salute to veterans. We're carrying that through with, November 11th, there's an event, in Farron Park. There will be a, Veterans Parade. There'll be a Veterans Ceremony. No, yeah, right there. And, they are going, this paratrooper group is going to jump like all day long into the lake. So if you've never seen that, they're also doing it from an original aircraft. And they did say if you wanted to go and see the original aircraft on in the morning over at Leesburg Airport, but they'll be jumping in the lake, you know, so I remember that when you use that term of go jump in a lake. They'll be jumping and then they'll go down from the community center, they'll go back down to the park, and we've got vendors and a beer tent that the chamber is providing, and so there's a lot going on, and it's a great way to honor our veterans.
So perfect, attend that during the day, come to Fox Sale that Friday night, there's gonna be, live music, it's gonna be a great weekend. Fox Sale is back in All right, and with that, our winners for the 1 million cups away, Matthew and Myron. So with that, invite anybody you know next week. We've got 2 great presenters, and a reminder, we want to pack the house every week. 2 weeks we have Eustis High School and the Lake County incubator will be attending. We're gonna have, I think, about 15 high school kids. We want to show them what the 1 million cups is all about, and more importantly, the support that they can get from their community. So thank you, everyone.
That's November 15th, they're coming.
Yes, 2 weeks from today. And we got 2 awesome presenters lined up.